My mom asked me who I wanted to marry. This time, I didn't choose Lucas. Instead, I chose his younger uncle, Daniel. Her reaction was instant. Her gaze turned sharp and full of disbelief, as if I had just slapped her across the face. After all, everyone in the city knew that Lucas and I were inseparable, practically glued together since childhood. For 10 years, I had chased him and made it clear I wouldn't marry anyone else. But that was the old version of me, a version that no longer existed. A bitter smile tugged at my lips as memories of my past life, before I was reborn, flooded my mind. In that life, after Lucas and I got married, I had a devastating realization. He had never even touched me. At first, I convinced myself it was something personal, maybe something he just couldn't help. I made excuses for him and tried to convince myself it didn't matter. But then, on our golden wedding anniversary, I walked into a room I had never seen before. It was locked, hidden, and filled with photos of my cousin. That's when it hit me. It wasn't that Lucas was asexual. He simply didn't love me. Now, in this second life, I was done wasting my time on someone who would never love me back. I decided to let them be together once and for all. But as I walked down the aisle toward Daniel, Lucas's face turned pale, and he completely lost control. 3 days after my official engagement to Lucas, I ran into him at a party. Naturally, his friends spotted me, and of course, they couldn't resist. They were already laughing, clearly having a field day at my expense. "Lucas, look who's here." Your little shadow showed up again. One of them called out with a grin. "Bianca, you're already engaged to Lucas, and you're still hanging around him. Shouldn't you let the poor guy enjoy his party before tying him down?" Another chimed in. When Lucas saw me, his annoyance was written all over his face. "Bianca," he spat, "are you really so desperate to marry me? You didn't even bother to get my approval before locking down this engagement, and now the whole city is talking about it. You've got some nerve." His disgust hit me like a punch in the gut. I had to take a deep breath and steady myself before saying anything. "I didn't need your approval. I'm not marrying you." The room burst into laughter. Lucas's friends practically doubled over. They laughed so hard that, of course, they couldn't resist piling on. "Lucas," one of them shouted, "you better watch out. Your fiancé is about to pull another stunt to get your attention." Lucas just shook his head, looking more and more annoyed. "Bianca, now you're trying to play hard to get." I couldn't help but smirk. "With your family? If I'm not marrying you, who else would marry you?" He leaned in closer, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Don't forget, you've been saying since we were kids that you'd marry me. The whole city already thinks you're mine." Then he whispered, "I'll let this engagement slide. But don't forget, sure, I can give you a big wedding, but the marriage license? That's only for the one I actually want to marry." I froze. In my past life, Lucas had followed through with his family's plans at this exact moment, and we had registered our marriage. Could it be that he had been reborn too? Before I could even process what was happening, my cousin Helena appeared at the party. The moment she spotted me standing next to Lucas, her face twisted in distress, and tears began to spill from her eyes. "Bianca, Lucas, I heard you're getting married soon. I didn't bring a gift, but I wish you both all the happiness in the world," she stammered, her voice breaking with every word. Before she could finish, Helena turned and bolted, sobbing as she ran off. "Look at what you've done, Bianca," Lucas muttered under his breath, giving me a furious glare before rushing after her without another word. When they came back, their fingers were locked together, tight as ever. Helena's lips were swollen and red, and there was a hickey on Lucas's neck. The whole room was watching, waiting to see what I'd do. In my previous life, if I saw another woman getting too close to Lucas, I'd make a scene to ensure everyone knew he was still mine. Lucas stepped forward, positioning Helena behind him like some kind of shield, his face wearing this weird, expectant expression. But I didn't give him the reaction he was clearly hoping for. Minutes passed, and his smug little face started to falter. Then he sneered. "Well, look at that. At least you've grown up a little. No screaming or throwing a fit like you used to." I didn't even dignify his jab with a response. As the party wound down, and we all started heading toward the door, Lucas stopped me in my tracks. "It's late, and it's not safe. I'll give you a ride," he said. Since the ride was free, and I wasn't about to walk home, I didn't argue. I climbed into the back seat, but Lucas was faster than me. He blocked the front passenger seat and said, "You're sitting in the back." With that, he gently helped Helena into the front seat like it was the most natural thing in the world. "I'm sorry, Bianca," Helena said with feigned concern. Lucas is just being protective. He's afraid I'll get car sick. I didn't say anything. I just slid into the back seat, exactly where I had planned to sit in the first place. The whole ride home was just Lucas and Helena talking and laughing like they were the only two people on the planet. At a red light, Helena teased Lucas, asking him to help her with some lip balm. They exchanged this look, and I swear the tension in the air thickened. Suddenly, Lucas whipped his head toward the rearview mirror, like he just remembered I was in the car. When his eyes met mine, and I pointedly stared out the window, trying to ignore them, his expression faltered for a moment. For a moment, I saw raw anger flash across his face. Then, before I could even process it, he slammed his foot down on the gas pedal. When we pulled up to my place, Lucas did something I really wasn't expecting. He grabbed my arm again. "All right, enough with the act," he said, his tone dismissive. "Don't pretend like you don't care. It's beneath you." With that, he shoved a bracelet into my hand. "This is your engagement gift from me," he added, his voice dripping with condescension. "As long as you stay in line, I'll throw you a wedding. At least on paper. Everyone will think you're my wife." I glanced up at him, locking eyes. "And who exactly are you planning to marry, Helena?" Lucas's face twisted with rage, but there was something almost smug underneath it, as if he was enjoying the chaos he was causing. "I knew it. You've been pretending the whole time," he sneered. "Listen up. Don't you dare breathe a word of this to anyone in either of our families. My relationship with Helena is none of your business. She's kind and fragile. Nothing like your petty little schemes." His voice dropped low, almost a warning. "If you ever hurt her, don't think for a second I'll still go through with this wedding." I couldn't help but laugh. He was too much of a coward to be honest with the Hughes family. Yet somehow I was the one painted as the villain in all of this. I didn't say another word. I just turned on my heel and walked into my apartment, the weight of it all pressing down on me. The moment I stepped through the door, my phone buzzed in my hand. It was a video from Helena. I hesitated before opening it, but when I did, there they were. Lucas gently helping Helena fasten a necklace around her neck. The brand was unmistakable. And then it hit me. The bracelet Lucas had just given me was the freebie that came with that very necklace. They were so close, their necks almost touching. And then, as the camera zoomed in, they kissed. The sound of it pierced the silence of the car. Sharp, intrusive, like a slap to my chest. "Bianca, Lucas must have told you by now. Right after the wedding, he's going to marry me. Legally. Just so you know, without a legal marriage, there's no inheritance rights. Guess it's my turn to become the richest woman in Evergreen City." Helena. She had been reborn, too. It all clicked. Even though Lucas and Helena had no connection in our past life, this time, just days into it, they were already acting like a couple, doing all the things lovers do. It was as if they had an unspoken understanding, as if they were trying to pick up exactly where they left off. I lowered my gaze, memories of my past life flooding back. I thought about when I first married into Lucas's family. Right after the wedding, it felt like everything changed. The company started receiving a flood of partnership offers, landing new contracts left and right. Hughes Enterprises' assets skyrocketed, and before long, they had become the richest company in Los Angeles. The patriarch of the Hughes family was convinced I was the one bringing good fortune to Lucas. Strangely enough, the family seemed to like me more and more with each passing day. They treated me like I was one of their own, like I truly belonged. Despite Lucas's cold indifference, I honestly thought I was happy. At least until I found the photos. One afternoon, my mom came into my room with some surprising news. "Daniel, Lucas's younger uncle, is coming back from Europe in 5 days," she said. I froze, caught off guard. Daniel had never married in my past life, and I certainly didn't expect our arranged marriage to progress so quickly. I vaguely remembered Daniel. One thing was clear, though, he was always a good guy, almost like an older brother to me. Marrying him now felt like it would bring me more peace than tying the knot with anyone else. I wasn't sure why, but the thought of him felt right. The next morning, I was up early, working away in my studio on the design for my wedding dress. I've been sketching out my dream wedding dress since college, when I studied fashion design. But every design I came up with back then had to fit Lucas's tastes. He wouldn't let me use any design elements I liked. Everything had to be for him. But now I was free. Free to design the dress I loved, the one I'd actually want to wear while marrying someone else. A few days later, I finished putting the final touches on my dress and decided to grab a coffee from the break room. That was when I saw Helena's post on social media. The past few days had been an emotional roller coaster with no end in sight. Every time I tried to focus on my life, on the future I was building with Daniel, and on the new chance this life had given me, something or someone from Lucas's world would appear like a cruel reminder of the past, lurking and ready to pull me back. It started when I saw Helena's name splashed across social media once again. Her post flaunted, with typical arrogance, the necklace I knew Lucas had picked for her. The caption read something along the lines of, "When you're special, things just come to you. Thank you, my angel." Of course, the message was directed at me. It wasn't about Lucas, it was about provoking me. They didn't even try to hide anything, acting as if they were the protagonists of a story no one else could understand. I tried to focus on work, on my life, on the future I was trying to build with Daniel. He was everything Lucas had never been. Kind, respectful, and attentive. I could feel his patience as he allowed me to navigate this emotional chaos. But the shadow of Lucas and Helena loomed over me like an impending storm. And that social media post was just the beginning. The next day, while I was finishing the final touches on my wedding dress, I received a message from an unknown number. My stomach churned before I even opened it. When I finally did, I almost threw my phone across the room. It was Helena again. "I hope your wedding preparations are going well. Lucas told me you've been very busy lately. It's good to see you finally accepting your place. Please take good care of Daniel. He deserves someone like you, so predictable. Oh, and just for the record, Lucas chose the necklace. It was a gift from him, a sign of what's to come. After all, some things never change." My blood boiled. Her audacity was surreal. Helena hadn't just stolen Lucas's attention. She now felt entitled to openly taunt me. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself, but something inside me snapped. She was toying with my patience, with my sanity. That same day, I decided to do something I hadn't done in years. I went to the Hughes mansion. The place was just as imposing as I remembered. The walls seemed to exude superiority, a perfect reflection of the family that lived there. Before knocking on the door, I hesitated. Was this the right thing to do? Maybe I should just let it all go and move on, but no, not this time. I needed to confront this head-on. The housekeeper, who seemed surprised to see me, opened the door. I explained that I needed to speak with Lucas. She let me in and guided me to the sitting room. My heart pounded in my chest, but the determination in my eyes was unshakable. Lucas appeared minutes later, his arrogant demeanor as irritating as ever. He looked surprised to see me, but quickly masked it with a condescending smile. "Bianca, what a surprise. What brings you here?" he asked, as if he had no idea why I was there. "We need to talk, Lucas." "Now," I said, my voice firm but calm. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing me lose control. He stared at me for a moment before gesturing for me to sit. I didn't. I remained standing, staring at him as an equal. "I got a message from Helena," I began, without any preamble. "Do you think this is some kind of game? That you can play with my life, with my feelings, as if I were just a disposable piece on your chessboard?" Lucas laughed, but there was something in his eyes. A flicker of irritation, or maybe guilt. It didn't matter. "Bianca, you need to relax. There's no reason for all this drama. You have Daniel now, don't you? He's perfect for you." Someone so predictable. Exactly as Helena said. His words were venomous, burning as they hit, but I didn't let it show. Instead, I stepped closer. "And you? Are you so happy with Helena? Is that what you want everyone to believe? Because to me, it looks like you're stuck in this pathetic need for control. You don't want Helena, Lucas. You just want to keep me under your thumb." His eyes narrowed, and the smile faded. For a moment, he seemed vulnerable, but he quickly regained his composure. "You think you know me, Bianca?" He laughed again, but this time it seemed forced. "The truth is, I never needed you. Never. And you know what? You'll marry Daniel, but you'll always be just a shadow of what you could have been with me. Because deep down, you still want me. And I know it." I laughed, a dry, humorless laugh. "No, Lucas. What I want is freedom. Freedom from you, from your family, from this damned need to manipulate everything around you. I'm not yours. I never was." Before he could respond, I turned and walked away. I didn't look back. It wasn't worth it. For the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of peace. Lucas no longer had power over me, and I was ready to build something real with Daniel. But when I got home, another message was waiting for me. It was a video from Helena. When I opened it, my heart sank. It was Lucas and Helena, laughing together, toasting with champagne glasses. At the end of the video, Helena smiled directly at the camera and said, "You'll never be free, Bianca. We'll always be here, watching. Enjoy it while you can." I deleted the message, took a deep breath, and decided they would no longer have any space in my mind. No matter what they tried, I would no longer be a piece in their game. When I received that message from Helena, something inside me snapped. It wasn't sadness or anger, but a clarity that almost frightened me. I knew I would never have peace as long as Lucas and Helena kept toying with me, treating my life like a chessboard where I was just a disposable pawn. If they wanted a game, I would finish it on my own terms. I waited. Every move had to be calculated. For days, I kept my routine, pretending everything was normal, but my mind was racing. With the help of an old friend, Camila, who had always supported me and knew part of my story with Lucas, I began to piece together a plan. First, I asked her to help me discreetly monitor Helena's social media. That was where Helena paraded her perfect life with Lucas, making it painfully clear how much she enjoyed provoking me. Helena didn't realize her arrogance was her biggest weakness. Everything I needed to act was there, in the captions, the smug glances and photos. She wanted the world to believe Lucas was entirely hers, but I knew that was a lie. I took the opportunity. I arranged to meet Lucas under the pretense of needing to discuss something important about my upcoming wedding. It was the perfect excuse, something he wouldn't refuse. When he arrived at the cafe I had chosen, he greeted me with that smug smile that always irritated me to my core. "Bianca, this is unexpected. I thought you wanted to erase every trace of the past," he said, settling into the chair. "And I do, Lucas. But to do that, I need to resolve things once and for all. There's something I need to tell you." I made sure to appear vulnerable, something he always loved to exploit. He smiled like he had already won. "I'm listening." I looked him directly in the eyes. "I want to thank you, truly, for showing me who you really are. Because of that, I've learned that I don't need you for anything. But you've always needed me. Always. That's why you keep meddling in my life, through Helena." Lucas frowned, clearly uncomfortable. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "No?" "Then explain Helena's messages. The videos. This constant obsession with showing me how happy you two are. None of this has anything to do with me? Because to me, it seems like you can't live without my presence, even from a distance." I smiled coldly. "You know what's funny? You don't love her, Lucas. You love control. And she's just a reflection of your own ego." He was speechless for a moment, and for the first time, I noticed something I had never seen before. Lucas wasn't strong or confident. He was an empty man who needed to feel in control to convince himself he had any worth. That silence was all I needed to know I was right. I stood, adjusting my bag on my shoulder. "Enjoy your happiness with Helena. And remember this, people like you always fall on their own. I'm just giving you a little push." I left before he could respond. I knew he would try some sort of retaliation, but I was ready. 2 days later, Helena sent me another message. This time, it was a picture of her and Lucas, captioned, "Some things never change." I smiled as I read it. She had no idea what was coming. That same night, with Camila's help, I sent an envelope to Helena's door. Inside were printed messages between Lucas and another woman, an ex-colleague of his. I didn't need to say anything. The message was clear. Helena didn't take long to react. The next day, she posted a picture of herself alone, captioned, "Some truths change everything." After that, her social media went silent. I knew she was busy confronting Lucas. And for the first time, I felt at peace. Weeks passed, and Lucas tried to contact me a few times, but I ignored him. My focus was on Daniel and the life we were building together. One evening, while we were having dinner, I received a text from an unknown number. The words were unmistakable. "You may have won this time, but I'll be back. People like us always come back." I stared at the message for a moment, emotionless, and simply deleted it. There was no longer any space for Lucas or Helena in my life. If they wanted to continue their toxic cycle, it would be without me. I had already won the most important battle, my freedom.